Hey guys, Leigh Calvert here with the Oxford Street Partners real estate team, Cascade Hassan, Sotheby's International Realty, covering Southwest Washington. Now, you might be thinking of selling your house whenever this is. These tips really live forever. Now, you could be thinking, oh, you know what? I'm just going to do it myself, sell it by owner. This job's easy. Or you might be thinking, well, I'm using a realtor, but what do I need to do? Not really getting much advice. Anyway, here are 5 tips we give everybody and we consider with every single one of our listings that we put on the market. Number 1, get the exterior washed. We're talking about getting a pressure washer for patios, walkways, decks, the driveway, maybe even the sidewalk. We're talking get the windows washed under the eaves of the roof, get those cleaned. If there's any mold staining from the vent coming out from the bathrooms, get that done as well. The gutters, if you've got white gutters, more important than any other color gutter, because those really click and spark on a photo, and it's really the trim piece. Now, the reason I bring this up a lot is think about when you were dating. Maybe this doesn't count for everybody, but at least whenever I went on a date, I'd get myself washed, maybe have a shave, dress nice, put on some aftershave, make myself look really, really good for the date. Why would we not do the same thing for your house when going on the market, trying to woo a buyer to buy your property? Spend a little bit more to get it ready, but it's worth every penny. You want to get that buyer loving that house, especially when there's new construction options available and they're already in that condition. Match that experience as best as possible. 2, reduce and spruce, aka declutter. Make sure you're getting excessive items around the house in closets. Fill the garage with furnishings you don't need going on around there. Floors are huge. I'm big about floors. So if you've got rugs, consider, do you really need that rug? If the floor is in good condition, people buy floors, not rugs, when they're coming into the property. Now, if the rug is kind of a nice accent piece, perhaps underneath a table, and you can still see a lot of the floor, then that's great. Leave those. Make sure the furnishings are not blocking walkways. Be mindful that no one has to squeeze past the couch or, squeeze through any spaces. Any squeezing makes that space feel a lot tighter and more restrictive. You want more open spaces, easy walking around the house itself. You tuck things underneath beds, fill the closets. Whatever you need to do to make the experience of going through the house, the better. If you have cabinetry that has a glass front, make sure visually that those don't look cluttered. Same with a pantry if you have a pantry. If things look cluttered, then you're displaying to your buyer that even you don't have enough space. If you don't have enough space, why would they have enough space? And they're likely to go, oh, it's not enough space for me, let's keep shopping. Anyway, consider that with decluttering. 3, and this kind of touches with number 1, but do a little bit of landscaping. Mow the lawn, trim the bushes. If you've got any branches from trees touching the house, get those shaved off. It's going to come up inspection anyway. Do something that makes it look like you've actually given a bit of care, and put a little bit of effort goes to a long way with the impression of a buyer. Get the leaf blower out. Blow any drop leaves that are on your lawn or your property. Get them off the property. Be a nice neighbor. Do the next house either side of you, maybe the one opposite you. So that way, when the buyer turns up and they look around, they can see that maybe this is a great street to go on because look at how much care your neighbors are all putting in place. What a thought. Just a little bit more effort can go a long way with the psychological impression of that buyer. Number 4. Now, this carries with for sale by owners that we see, but also some professionals. So we all have our own way of doing things, but I could not illustrate more that it used to be 93% of buyers find their house online first. I think that's up towards 98, 99% now. But photography and photos are the key way that someone sees your house for the first time and then decides, do I want to watch a video or do a virtual tour or go in person to see the property? Why on earth would you not use a professional to display your house using the dominant way that someone is going to see your house. Put the iPhone away. They do great pictures, but we're talking about lighting, high definition photos, getting the right impression of the property. Don't over expose the property with the fisheye lens or panoramic pictures. Make sure there's no fingers in the screens. Get people and pets out of the pictures. Anyway, a professional is going to make sure that your property is displayed as best as they can through a photo. Now, you've got to put the effort in to prep it, but please use a professional, not a hobby photographer. Get a professional real estate photographer to come and take your pictures. You can totally tell the difference when seeing them online. And lastly, number 5, be accessible. Make it easy for a buyer to see your property, right? The more restrictive you are, the less likely you're going to get an offer. The caveat to that is if you've got tenants in your property, you don't live in there, and you're trying to minimize the impact on the tenant, there is a measure you can take for that to obviously limit the impact of exclusive use and privacy for them that goes outside of making it super accessible, but there's ways around that. Anyway, be accessible. Can you respond to a buyer to let them see it within 30-minute, 60-minute, 2-hour, 3-hour notice? You also do that without taking a hit in your security. So a good agent, for example, if they get an appointment request, they'll do a pre-qualification of the buyer before they're even coming to the house, before you even accept that appointment. You know, have they got a pre-qualified loan letter if they're using a loan? If they're a cash buyer, can you provide proof of funds before I get my seller to leave the property for you to go in and check it out? There's measures you can take place, so that way the appointments that are happening are legit appointments. Anyway, 5 things to consider. I got a lot more tips. Things go way beyond just presentation, but if you're doing it for sell by owner, maybe you're on the market and you're seeing, there's some things I could improve on there. Just consider those 5. I think it would go a long way. And anything else, if any more questions, want more tips, want more representation, please reach out. Thanks for watching. Good luck.